Well, let's head back to New York and speak to Helga Tawil-Souri. She's the Associate Professor of Middle East and Islamic Studies at NYU. Helga, good to have you with us. Now, I believe that you were, of course, personally involved in some of these protests, that some of your students, some of your fellow lecturers were arrested in New York City. So did the protests take universities and police perhaps by surprise? I mean, as you're hearing, from our correspondents, there seems to be, these protests are getting quite angry.
Thank you for having us. I don't know if it's really by surprise. I think a lot of campuses are sort of ready for this to happen. And certainly our students have been protesting for a few months already, since October. Perhaps the encampment and where it was going to take place was a bit of a surprise, but I don't think entirely a surprise, no.
Now, Helga, we were hearing from our correspondents that there possibly could be the National Guard coming in, talk with the police as well. Why do you think there's been an overtly heavy-handed approach by police, by enforcement officers?
That's a very good question. I mean, I think that it's important to sort of understand that, the police has been involved, if you want, on various campuses throughout the United States from the beginning of October. And the university administrators have actually allowed that to happen. I mean, many campuses, such as USC, as the previous speaker was just saying, as well as NYU, have had, sort of a lot of back and forth between the students of asking them, like, do not let in the LAPD or the NYPD, in our case, onto campus, and obviously that doesn't seem to happen. Instead, what the university administrators do is kind of take a much more forceful sort of reaction to students. And I think a lot of that has actually been sort of made possible by the response of university presidents, whether in Congress with the president of Columbia, or even with our president here at NYU, in terms of how she responded to what was a very peaceful encampment that was going on Monday.
So why, for you, have students picked up the baton for the people of Gaza? Is this a simple act of showing solidarity? Or is it something more?
I think students definitely see what's happening in Gaza and all of Palestine. I think they connect that to a lot of other issues, not just simply what's going on in Palestine. I think they see the inequalities, they see the oppression, and they also see the sort of the struggle, if you want, as something that connects across, right? Whether it's the Black Lives Movement or the Indigenous movement, or also like the hypocrisy of countries like the US in terms of where they stand. And I think they're generally just sort of very conscientious, very politically astute students, and they're not afraid to stand up for their rights. And, while a lot of these or all of these are in solidarity with Gaza, I think many of the students also have very specific demands that they're asking, just as the person from USC was just explaining. In the case of NYU, it's, asking NYU to disclose where its finances are to divest from its interests with Israel, to shut down the NYU Tel Aviv campus, to stop the NYPD from coming onto campus, and to provide amnesty for students that have been reprimanded for various forms of activism since October.
OK, well, Helga Tawil-Souri, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you for your analysis of those student protests that are taking place in support of Gaza. Thank you so much.
Thank you.